This is TWiT.
Tell me about Authentic8. What is the idea here?
So it's an incredibly simple idea, but it's what we say obvious in hindsight. If you think about what a web browser does, every time you view a page, you go to a destination on the web, you're requesting a big blob of code written by some third party and intermingled with all kinds of other third party code like ad networks or activity trackers or whatever. You suck that down the wire and you bring it into your local computer, and your browser will execute it. It will assemble the page. It will programmatically execute modern usability widgets, scrolling information feeds or pull down menus, watch videos, whatever. All of that is done programmatically at your computer. And we looked at this, coming out of my previous company. We were really looking at this from the perspective of the corporate user and administrators trying to control the environment. And we realized that the protocols aren't going to change. You're not going to be able to embed better security or management into the protocols. You're not going to be able to configure the device because more and more people are moving to a BYOD environment. And this proliferation of cloud-based applications means a lot of times the data that you're trying to control lives on servers that are managed by another third party. And so our whole idea, in simple words, was execute the browser on a server you can control rather than trying to patch all the endpoints all around the endpoints. So we build what's called a cloud browser. You use our browser, it's executing up in the cloud. It's configured with a variety of policies and entitlements and security capabilities, but the user gets basically a real-time display of that browser session to their endpoint.
But it's a harmless stream.
It's
not
an
all
encrypted,
the potential garbage.
That's exactly right.
So this is kind of like what Google's doing with Stadia, Microsoft's doing with xCloud.
It's what OnLive did with games before Stadia came.
The idea is you render the game on the server, and so none of that hard work is done on your computer. And in the case of the internet, none of the security risks are executed on your machine. You just have a stream.
Or the attribution. The attribution is important as well, because if there's somebody tracking you or trying to identify who you are, the IP terminates at Amazon or Google or wherever we're hosting our infrastructure. And so you also get anonymity when you're online. So you're not touching anything, and you're not exposing your IP, your location, or anything like that. But to be fair, virtualization is not new. Virtualization's been around for dozens of years. What we did is use virtualization as a means to an end. The real important stuff I think that we're doing, and the reason the company is called Authentic8 and not, jumbo virtualization or something like that, is because we think that the combination of security through this idea of virtualization, identity and access management, or simply said, password management, and data policies gives you this holistic environment for controlling how cloud-based applications are used, particularly sensitive cloud-based applications, banking information, corporate resources, et cetera. You can basically move all of the things that might be exposed either to a malicious person or a user that might make a mistake, and you can put all of the policies to control that in the browser itself. And that allows all of those policies to follow the user regardless of device, regardless of network, regardless of location. The browser becomes the centrally managed asset. Totally secure, totally anonymous, and policy control.
So every time these kinds of things come up, people say, well, wait a minute, that's what we used to have, was this thin client, a terminal, and the computer was over there. And then the whole revolution, the whole personal computer revolution was one desk, one CPU, your own personal little computer that you can do anything.
Decentralized.
Right. And now it sounds like we're going back to the old day of a thin client and all the work being done in the cloud. Is it really regression, or are we making progress?